Hello and welcome to another video. Powder coating. Now that's something I've always wanted to do. Normally you put all your bits together and you send them off to a company and they then send them back and charge you a huge amount of money to do it. And I want to know is, can you get good results at home using relatively inexpensive equipment to actually get good results? Now if that's something of interest to you, then please stay tuned. I think this is going to be good. So the piece of metal that I'm going to be powder coating today is this little bracket, as I showed you earlier. First thing I want to do now is just address all of this rust as much as I can, and I'm going to do that on my little whizzy wheel and get it as clean as I possibly can. And then I'm going to then be treating the surface with some isopropyl alcohol, or 100% alcohol, let's try and say it that way, and that will sort of clean the surface up. We're then going to bake this to get rid of any oils and contaminations that I can see on it, and then we'll be ready to actually powder coat it. So first thing is first, we'll get this cleaned up. Okay, so I've got it as clean as I possibly can, and the next thing I want to do is grab myself a relatively clean cloth, and I'm going to wipe over the surface with some 100% alcohol, so isopropanol alcohol. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's not something you want to drink, but it's very good at cleaning up surfaces and getting rid of any residual contaminants. So I think with this process, as clean as you can possibly get the piece, the better. So give that a really good clean. Excellent. So now that that's all clean, it's looking quite nice. There's still a tiny bit of corrosion in the corner there that I couldn't quite get, but it's it has all been flattened off and cleaned. And next thing I want to do now is completely clear the bench, get my oven up from the top, and I'm going to show you the oven that I'm going to use. So the oven that I'm going to use is this particular oven's a Ninja, an old Ninja that we had in our kitchen. It's a 10-in-1 oven. It's got a reasonably good size. Got various racks and things that I can put in. I've also got a basket that I can use when I need to lie things flat. It's also got the main reason why I wanted this particular oven is because it's got a, if I turn it on, it's got what they call a reheat feature. Now the reheat feature, I can put a timer on. So the target temperature for powder coating, as I understand it, is 200 degrees for about 10 minutes for the part. So before I do anything else, what I want to do actually is to bake the part off. And what that essentially means is I'm going to stick it in my my oven. Made some little clips up actually which help with this. So I want to stick it in my oven so that the part itself can sort of decontaminate. And what that will do is any oils that are left on the surface should bake off. So it's just as simple as turning on the oven at 200 degrees, and we'll leave that to cook away for around about 12 minutes, and that should be sufficient. That's how I understand it. So I'll leave that to cook. So whilst that part's cooking off, I'm going to show you my makeshift powder coating booth, which is essentially a big box. And in that big box, I'm going to hang a rod. Nothing too complex, it's just a box and a rod. So the kit that I've actually gone for powder coating is made by a company called Easy Coat from Electrostatic Magic. Now, I've done a lot of research and I've found them to be the best sort of budget powder coating system out there. The good thing about this kit is there's no electronic components. So the powder I'm using today is black satin, so I've got a little pot of that. It comes with a spare pot as well. The gun itself, which is designed to hook up to your air line, also comes with a moisture trap, which I'm just going to screw on. And an anti-static band, which is designed actually to go on your wrist and then onto the piece. But you can also attach it to the gun itself, and there's a little clip just here that it locates, so I'm going to attach that on, and then we'll try our best to attach it to the actual the piece. Now, the way this works is you get your powder, you screw your canister. I mean, this stuff is messy, it gets everywhere if you're not careful, so you do need to be a little careful. And a bit like a paint gun, you just screw your powder in, which is pretty straightforward really. And that's all set up and ready to go. There is an air regulator here which I've sort of pre-adjusted, so we'll get all this other gubbins out of the way. And that's the powder coating booth set up. Couldn't be simpler really. So the piece out of the oven, that's all cooked off and ready to go. So I'm just going to let it cool down a little bit and stick it in my little booth. So just while that part's cooling down, I'm going to cook up my little lead. So now the part's sufficiently cool, I should just be able to hit it with the black powder. I'll just see if I can turn the piece round just to make sure I've got both sides. But you can see how well that coats. It's quite a straightforward process really. In fact, looking at it, I can see that both sides have been nicely covered. So I think I can actually go straight into the oven with that. Excellent. So we shall let that cook away. So what we're looking to do now is get this piece to 200 degrees. Now the piece itself needs to be 200 degrees. Now what I'm starting to observe now is that the powder, certainly at the top of the oven, is now starting to change colour, and it's going from a powdered state to what looks like quite a sort of liquid state. And I can slowly now see, I hope it's coming out on the video, I can now see that the piece itself, as it gains heat, is starting to turn. So that's what we're looking for. So now it's just a case of being patient. And yeah, in fact I can now see where the part is actually hanging. It's gone very very glossy, almost like it's been painted. But we shall let it continue. There's a sense of watching paint dry with this. It's really fascinating. It's so cool to watch it all sort of turn from a powder to a liquid. Which essentially what's happening is, I think, is that all the powder's basically a powder plastic, and the heat is allowing all those particles, if you like, of powder to sort of become one and encapsulate the metal. So I understand it having a really clean starting point with the metal is what stops reactions from happening, so hopefully we're not going to get any. The test piece that I did when I first got this kit, and I've only ever done this is only the second piece I've ever done, came out absolutely stunning. So yeah, spoiler alert, this system works, and it works well, and it's incredibly exciting because I'm going to be able to powder coat absolutely everything. Well, certainly everything I can get in this little oven anyway. So my only restriction really is the size of my oven. I dare say that the gun itself, the powder coating system, can accommodate large items with ease. It's just, you know, am I going to be able to fit them in my oven, which is very doubtful. So what you can also do is you can just open the oven up, it's not a problem, and use a sort of digital thermometer, if I can get it on the piece, just to see exactly where we are. We're about 171 degrees on that item, so that's good. So I know we're near the target temperature. Now obviously you don't want to overdo the time, but there is a fair margin. You know, I could leave this in for another 10 minutes and I don't think it would actually it'd actually hurt it, from what I understand. But yeah, what an incredible process. So the process of cleaning up is actually quite straightforward. You just disconnect your airline, tip your gun upside down, take off your static lead, unscrew your powder. Actually, let's give it a little tap first, so that any powder that's in the gun can actually evacuate or end up back in the container itself. That's it. Pop that down for a moment. Good discipline required when it comes to putting your container lid back on, because I know me all too well. I'll fail to do it and then stuff will go absolutely everywhere. So yeah, always make sure that that's properly attached. And it is just a simple matter of increasing the air within your compressor back to full power. Yeah, so it's then just a simple matter of increasing the compressor power back to full, popping on an airline, and just blowing it off. As simple as that, ready to go. So the next question is, how did we do? So the oven's now turned off, so we'll let that air dry or air cool for a moment, and I'll be back in a minute with the result. So how did we do? Well, I hope it's coming through on the video, but the result is amazing. A really nice powder coated piece that just looks like it's come out of the factory. So yeah, the results kind of speak for themselves really. It's going to be a nice durable finish. It's far easier than painting. So powder coating, can it be done at home? Well, absolutely. I think the results certainly speak for themselves, and I could not be happier. The Easy Coat system is pretty straightforward to use, and I couldn't be happier with the investment. It was only £150 for the entire kit, and that has enabled me to get started. The oven I had anyway, so that, you know, that's another cost, but considering how much I can actually use this for and how much powder coating I can actually do now without having to send all those parts away is going to be absolutely invaluable. There's no kind of electrical components to this. There's a lot of magic and wizardry that goes on in this tube. I've got no idea how it works, but you know, I just couldn't be happier. It's a nice, simple, easy to do, easy to use system. You saw how quick and easy it was to get the powder onto the piece. Quick bake in the oven and away you go. So yeah, I hope you find this useful. It's been good fun actually doing this today. And if you like the content, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot when people subscribe, and it's why I do this, is to sort of share this kind of information. And you know, every subscriber I get just gets me a little bit further to my goal, which is you know, maybe one day doing this for a living. That'd be great, wouldn't it? So no, thanks for subscribing if you do, and if you don't, either way, I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.